Hello, welcome back to my channel. As the title suggests, today's video is related to college interviews. I have given 4 different college interviews so far, one of them being offline and the other 3 being online. So, first, I will be sharing my experience of all the 4 college interviews, and after that, just some general tips or the questions that are usually asked in these interviews. Beforehand, I just want to let you know that I applied for BA, journalism and mass communication in all these colleges. So, first off is the offline interview, which was Christ University's interview. So, I applied for the central campus. I traveled to Visakhapatnam to give my interview after writing the entrance exam in a center in my city. And after I went there, I reached the venue on time. The venue was given in the admit card itself. And after that, your process is basically they will verify your identity. Then they will move on to the writing section, which is known as skill assessment, where you will write 2 pages, one front and one back. And it's not that you have to write a lot. They give you about 70 word limit for each page and you get 20 minutes. So I think that's plenty of time. After that, you go and wait and you have your interview. And then in the interview, in the end, you will have a micro presentation where they will give you a topic and you have to talk about it for a minute or so. The exact course that I applied for in Christ Central Campus was BA Mass Communication with English Honors. So, since the past 2 years, I've been doing science and I didn't really have much time to read, honestly, because I was struggling with passing physics and chemistry in the first place. So, I didn't really have much time to read. So, when they asked me about the authors that I usually read, I just went blank because for me, I thought getting good marks in English, scoring the highest in English in my class, would be enough to prove that I am good at English, but it wasn't. I also had to read, which is an obvious thing that I should have prepared for, honestly, but I didn't. So, since it was my first interview, I didn't know that they would also ask really course specific questions. Since I applied for mass communication, they asked me questions like name any 5 newspapers, name any 5 reporters, and I could only name like 4 reporters' names because I was not prepared at all. And then I was asked if I've read classic literature, which I was in a cbse school and we do not have any Shakespeare or Oscar Wilde or any of that. So unfortunately, I couldn't answer that question either. As you can tell from how it's been going, downgrading one by one. So basically, after all that, I unfortunately did not get in. And it makes sense, honestly, I wasn't able to answer most of the questions. And since it was my first interview, I would say I was quite nervous as well. I feel like half of the stuff that I wanted to say, I said it in my head, but I didn't actually say it to them. For example, when they asked me that if you don't read, then how will you be able to cope up with our course? So in my head, I was like, I'll try my best to do so. I will try my best to cope up with it because I really love English as a subject. But I couldn't say that because I got so nervous, I couldn't say anything else. I messed up once and then I kept messing up again and again and again, and the cycle continued, and I didn't get in. So that was my Christ University interview experience. The written entrance test, at least for me, it was really difficult. The general knowledge section, I could barely answer anything. So if you are going to give the Christ entrance, which I suppose the second round is on 9th of May. All the best, and I hope that you do well in your interview, and please remember to prepare course specific questions as well and not just overview of what the course is about. Next, I was really desperate that night and I applied for quite a lot of universities. Some of them I actually finished the application form, the others I left halfway. I was just really in panic mode. So one of the colleges that I opted was Amity, Mumbai, and their selection process just consisted of an online interview. So I went through that. The faculty was really nice. The professor that I interacted with was super kind, and honestly, all the teachers, all the 4 interviews that I've been to, Each of them have two teachers in them, and all of them are so kind. They are so nice. They try not to like intimidate you too much. They're really nice to you. If you're not able to answer, they'll just be like, you can calm down and relax and answer. So it's really not that big of a deal. And I'll talk about this more a little bit later, but for now, let's talk about my interview at Amity. So it went really well. I was just asked about my interests and why I chose the course, why I chose the college, and it was a pretty smooth interview. And I got in. After that, I did a little more research on which colleges are good for my course, and I did apply for symbiosis beforehand, but since it's not one of the best, it is the best in most of the websites. I felt like I needed another option as well, and then I came across Manipal University, or MAHE, Manipal Academy of Higher Education. So now moving on to the third college that I gave an interview for. So it was another online interview through Microsoft Teams, and the teachers were super kind here as well. There were some basic questions that I unfortunately wasn't able to answer, but here is a brief of the questions that I was asked. The same thing, like why I want this course, why I want this college, my strengths and weaknesses according to myself. And other than that, I was asked things related to current affairs, the news. Since I'm opting for mass communication, I should be updated with all of that. And by this time, I feel like I got a hang of it. I understood that current affairs are important for me, and I started reading the news every single day, and I think that really helped. I was asked to talk about the BRICS summit, and I was also asked to talk about the sustainable development goals. There were 17 of them, but I couldn't pinpoint the points, so I was just lost as to where I should answer. And apart from that, I was also asked about a question about what are the alternatives to plastic that we can use, which is environment friendly, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And now coming to the last interview that I gave, which is my fourth college, and the college that I will be going to is MAHE Bangalore campus, and I just got the confirmation that I got in, and honestly I couldn't be happier. So this interview, I had it yesterday, so it's completely fresh in my mind. The first thing that you're asked is always to introduce yourself. So you need to make sure that you have this really good first impression so that they can ask you questions about the stuff that you like to do, or your skills, or what you want to develop. I was asked to list out a few news headlines, why I want to go for this course, why I want to go for this college. And apart from that, I was also asked about the Odia news channel, since I'm from Odisha, and if the media coverage is accurate during times of floods or etc. And I was asked about what public relations is and what is audiovisual communication, etc. I think I answered most of it, so yeah, I'm really happy with what I ended up with. Getting rejected in your first interview, it felt like this is the end. I can't get into college anymore. I will have to take a drop here, this, that. It was all stuck in my head. But I must say, it really depends on the interviewers, which questions they ask you, and it also depends on your confidence level on that specific day. And it's not like you'll be completely confident every single day. For me, it definitely did, because Christ was my first interview. I was really, really nervous about that. And then when it came to Amity and MAHE Manipal, I tried my best and I gained a little confidence. And then when I gave my interview at MAHE Bangalore, by that time I felt nervous again, because I really, really wanted to get into the Bangalore campus, since it would be convenient for me. And by God's grace, I did. So now let's move on to the interview tips that I would like to give you for your interviews in general, no matter which college. So as I said before, the first question that you will be asked is to introduce yourself. Make sure that it isn't too short or too long. Just keep it short, keep it clear. So I'll just give you an example of what I said. Good morning or good afternoon. I am Suhani from XXX Bhubaneswar. I just appeared my class 12 board exams this year. From the past 2 years, I've been working on content creation. I've gained over 18,000 followers. My highest viewed video is 11.4 million views. Basically, my account is related to study content where I post study related reels or content that is relatable for students, etc. etc. You can go on about your hobbies and what you like to do. I said that I like writing poetry, I like singing. So you can say whatever you want, anything you're interested in or you're good at. And yeah, that's it for the first point. Second of all, confidence. Confidence is key. Your confidence, your English, your body language, all of these three should be in sync. And even if you're nervous, the best advice that I would give you is to fake it till you make it. Just pretend like you're confident. Make sure that you maintain eye contact with the interviewer. And trust me, they're always really nice to you. There's nothing to be intimidated by. Take this interview as a formal conversation between you and the interviewers. The interviewers are just trying to get to know you and why they should admit you into this college. Don't think of it as this huge deal. The bigger deal you make out of it, the more nervous you'll get. So just think of it as a conversation between two people where one person is trying to know how much knowledge the other person has of the course they're opting for college, because no teacher would want a student who doesn't even know the basics about the course or what they're stepping into. Third of all, please read the syllabus on the college website. Go through your course, go through the different subjects that are included in your course and learn about them. Just basics. I'm not asking you to really go deep into it, but just 2 to 3 lines what the specific subjects are about, so that you have an idea that what you're stepping into, because this is the span of 4 years of your life and I can't just go into whatever I see, right? So you have to know what you're opting for. Once you find your why, you will automatically be able to answer the questions, for example, why you want this course and why you want this college. Fourth thing, if they ask you for your strengths and weaknesses, now strengths, everyone has different strengths. I'm sure you can think of 2 or 3 things that you're good at. But apart from that, when it comes to weaknesses, first of all, be honest, okay? For example, I said that my weakness was being stuck in the past or thinking about the same things in the loop, but I am working on it by focusing on the present. That is the kind of thing that you have to say, that you're working on it, you're trying to rectify your mistakes. Just try to prove to them that you are trying to eliminate that weakness. Now, the fifth tip is that dress formally. Doesn't matter if it's an online interview or an offline interview, it is best if you dress professionally. The way you present yourself also matters. When you're going for an offline interview, obviously the pressure is higher, so you have to, from the top to the bottom, you have to be completely neat and clean, professional. Right now it is so hot that if you have an offline interview, you will not be able to wear a blazer, but if you have an online one, then you can just pop one on. For example, the venue that I went to for my Christ interview, we only had fans there and those fans were so slow. I went there at 2 p.m. and I got back at about 5:30. So the Christ interview process is the longest out of all the colleges that I gave. The others are about 10 to 15 minutes. And even the Christ interview is 10 to 15 minutes as well. The actual personal interview, the interaction that you'll have with them is 10 to 15 minutes. But before that, the waiting in line, waiting to get your identification verified, waiting to get your interview done, and then sitting in line for hours and hours, that is the most time-taking part. So yeah, that's pretty much all the tips that I wanted to share with you. And if you found this helpful, please do subscribe, and thank you for watching till the end. All the best for your college decisions, and I really hope that you get into the college that you want to get into. And yeah, that's it for today. Bye.